Although they have been squaring off on the hardwood since 1930, the rivalry between Syracuse University and Georgetown University hit its stride with the formation of the original Big East Conference in 1979. The heyday of the rivalry came in the 1980s with the larger-than-life coaching personalities of John Thompson and Jim Boeheim anchoring the sidelines for their respective programs. Those future Hall of Fame coaches would provide the blueprint to what became a bruising and contentious battle between these Northeast powers. Let's jump right into that rivalry-defining matchup in 1980, breaking down why this rivalry is so special and how Syracuse's decision to leave the Big East took a toll on one of college basketball's best matchups on this edition of Stadium Rivals. On February 13, 1980, number 2 Syracuse hosted Georgetown in the final game at Manley Fieldhouse, Syracuse's home court since 1962. Combined with being the first Big East game between these two powers, the stakes were extremely high. Syracuse was on a 57-game home court winning streak. Behind a game-high 17 points from Craig Shelton, Georgetown upset the Orange 52-50. In the press conference after the game, John Thompson uttered the famous phrase, "Manley Fieldhouse is officially closed." And just like that, a rivalry was born. Never did things get more heated than when Georgetown's Michael Graham appeared to punch Syracuse's Andre Hawkins in the 1984 Big East Tournament. The two battled for a rebound late in the game, and in the struggle, Graham threw a left-handed punch at Hawkins. It appeared the officials were about to toss Graham from the game, but after a discussion, it was simply called an intentional foul. Georgetown won in overtime, 82-71. After the game, Boeheim said, "Michael Graham, in front of 19,000 people, punched my players, and the ref had the nerve to call it a two-shot foul." After losing in the national title game in 1982, the Hoyas, behind Patrick Ewing, won the national championship, taking down Houston in the title game in March of '84. Defending champion Georgetown came into the Carrier Dome at 18-1 and ranked number 1 in the country to take on number 11 Syracuse in 1985. Ewing did everything he could, tallying 21 points and 17 boards, but it was the Orange's Pearl Washington who found himself at the elbow, draining a jumper with 8 seconds left, leading the 'Cuse to a 65-63 win. Sherman Douglas hit a clutch jumper with 8 seconds left to give number 14 Syracuse the lead over number 15 Georgetown in 1988. But right on the inbounds pass after that bucket, Georgetown's Charles Smith took the ball the length of the floor, scooping in a game-winning layup at the buzzer. The Hoyas went home with a 69-68 win. In the 1990 battle, John Thompson lost it. Just before halftime, the Hoyas head coach disagreed with the call and was hit with a technical foul from one referee. Upset with that tech, he left the coach's box and earned another tech from a second official. He then stomped onto the court, earning a third technical foul from a third referee. A 10-point possession followed after those techs, and it would take overtime for Syracuse to win 89-87. The Hoyas and the Orange had met in the Big East Tournament title game 3 times prior to 1992, and Georgetown came out on top each time. Heading into the 4th championship game in '92, Syracuse was unranked, and Georgetown came in number 22 with Alonzo Mourning anchoring the front court. Tied at 54 in the final seconds, Syracuse senior Dave Johnson dribbled through the lane and lofted a high shot over Mourning's outstretched arm. Johnson's shot went in, giving the Orange a 56-54 upset victory. Donovan McNabb, the quarterback of Syracuse's football team, received little playing time as a walk-on for the Hoops team in his first 2 years with the Orange. But with many personnel issues, Jim Boeheim was forced to play McNabb a career-high 19 minutes in 1997 against G-Town. McNabb scored 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting, coming up with a big defensive play at the other end, helping key Syracuse to a 77-74 victory. The basketball court at the Carrier Dome was renamed Jim Boeheim Court, the dedication ahead of the Syracuse-Georgetown matchup in 2002. But the Hoyas came in and ruined the party. Behind 18 points from Gerald Riley, Georgetown triumphed 75-69. 2 buzzer beaters from Gerry McNamara ahead of Syracuse's showdown with Georgetown marked his team's miracle run in the 2006 Big East Tournament. Down 15 at half against the Hoyas in the semifinals, McNamara scored 15 of his 17 points in the second frame, and his assist to Eric Devendorf for the go-ahead layup with 9.3 seconds left helped the Orange down the Hoyas 58-57. Conference expansion saw Syracuse leave for the ACC in 2013. The first game between the two rivals after the move came in 2015, and Jim Boeheim was serving a 9-game suspension for NCAA infractions. Senior center Bradley Hayes scored a career-high 21 points for Georgetown, who topped their old rivals 79-72. Georgetown and Syracuse basically built the old Big East throughout the 1980s. In fact, they finished, fittingly, with a 36-36 record against one another in the regular season and split 14 Big East tournament games 7-7. Heading into 2019, the Orange hold a slight edge at 51-43 over Georgetown. Although in different conferences now, these two will continue the rivalry once a season until at least the 2022-23 season. It may not be in the Big East of old, but this matchup is still one of the best in college hoops, made for a spot on Stadium Rivals.